This is going to be a mountain landscape painting. My wife and I had a vacation in Uttaranchal in India, and one of the beautiful sights which is still fresh in my memory are this mountainscape with bluish tint on the mountains, and the foreground was darker and the trees were vivid. And as we move to the cascade of mountains into the background, it was turning blue and blue and blue, and then you have this blue sky. So that image is fresh in my mind, and that's what I proposed to the client, and I gave him a reference image, and the client agreed to have this. So this painting is going to go on the courtyard of the client, and it's going to be an acrylic painting. Perhaps I would be looking at doing the details in oil as well. So I'm going to begin. Day 2. Yesterday I had to stop the painting because there was not enough light. It's 6 in the morning today now, and there is not enough light, but the sun is coming up and soon I will have good light flushing over the work. The preliminary work of the background, hills, mountains with slight purplish tint. Pretty happy about it, and I'm going to have some more blue coming in, and I will be working down, and I will leave this part, and the bottom part is going to be a bit more darker, and that will give me a good idea of how light should be the painting, the colors, the hues, as we move away into the distance. Come to think of it, this is a portrait of a landscape. Why should the portrait be always a person's face? The landscape presents itself to us, and it's a portrait of the landscape. Let's begin. These are fan brushes, shape of a fan, and it's beautiful to create smudges like this. Very beautifully, ideal to paint fog and steam. Fan brush. Day 4. This is where I have arrived. Yesterday night I did a couple of changes. This hill was here, projected out, and I didn't like the way it was coming in, and then too much of curve. Visually it's so pleasing to see a very nice slope, because we don't have a big slope anywhere in the image except for this one in the distance. So instead of having it, so I painted over 2-3 times. Now I'm going to have the purple to come in, and then you won't be able to really see the curve. So that's became so beautiful. Then the curve kind of, initially I wanted to have this part of the image to be extended from here all the way here. But then I will lose this particular section, which is a very beautiful part of the image, because everything else is like you want to feel like wanting to walk over here. So I wanted to retain this, therefore I cut this part of the hill and had it sloping like that. Here, it's too much of curve. So this is nice. I'm going to retain this and then let the trees grow up here. But this one, I'm going to make it a little bit more straight, because in this image, I wanted to have at least one section to have a straight line, because it's pleasing to see variety. So this is going to be painted, this black is going to be painted here. And a couple of fixes here. I'm going to have my fog coming in a little later. Now this particular section is the most difficult part of the painting, because the trees are more vivid, are more clear here. So you need to have a lot of patience, a lot of work on this part. Rest of them, they are more silhouette. So this is what it is. All right. Hopefully I'm going to turn this into one of my best pieces in a long time. Yeah, there are times when you're not happy with some of the parts of the painting, the outcome. It was too sky blue, cyan to be exact, on this part here, and I was not too happy about the colors that came up on this center part of the painting. Looked it over and over again, gave it a break for a day, came back and I said I need to redo. So I painted white and I painted different color here, gave it a different lesser black here. So yeah, it's just one of those days when you realize that you have to abandon certain part of the painting and restart again. So it's 6 o'clock in the morning, and with this beautiful light, I hope to have a better idea how to continue with this painting. In this painting, I have fog, steam, mist. They are all, including smoke, they are all transient things in your painting. When I say transient, it means it's impermanent. It's something that is just passing by. It's not the same as a bird flying over. You like to freeze a bird or a car passing by. It is part of the image proper. But these elements, transient elements such as steam, smoke, fog, mist. Now, for the benefit of artists and painters out there are a few things you need to look into when painting transient things like smoke, mist, or fog, or even steam. 3 things you need to ask. What is the form, the shape, and most important part is the movement. Most of these transient things that I just listed out, they need to have a form, a shape, and most important, they should have a movement. Let me talk about movement. When I say movement, is the fog across these hills here, are they static? In this, yes, they are made static. But sometimes you can have the fog moving upwards, sometimes down the hill movement, and sometimes it is moving to the left, so there's more steam perhaps on the right side and going to the left, or the other way around. So it's important for you to decide what kind of movement you need to show in a painting when you're doing mist, fog, steam. Shape. You need to understand what sort of shape your steam is going to be, or is it going to be going up like that, or it is moving sidewards. So in that movement you will have shapes coming up. If you were to draw an outline around the steam or the fog or the mist, what would it be? Would it look like a triangle? Does it have a geometric shape? So it's very important for you to understand the shape of the mist or fog. In my case, it's this way, and then this is a mist this way, and they're roughly about this much here and a bit more louder here, and if you can see it's here, and then the shape here is this is about 3 inches, you know, and then coming down, that's my fog, and then it gets bigger here. It's a bit of a rectangle here, taller here again. So shape of the transient object, transient thing like fog and steam, it's an important thing. The other thing is in the form, does your steam or fog or mist have a 3-dimensional effect to it, or is it what do you call flat? Ideally, add a bit of 3-dimensional effect to it. One of the ways you can have 3-dimensional is by adding color, which is the next point I need to make out. Your transient thing, your fog or steam, what color is it? Is it white? Is it white in the center and then getting transparent? It's nice to have fog pick up colors, diffuse colors from the surrounding. For example, early mornings, dawn, the mist picks up the color from the sun's light, from the sun's ray, or reflected from the foliage. So add a bit of color to your steam. In my case, it's very much white because this mist which is formed over the hills here, they are white. But when I added a mist here, I added a bit of purple, picking up purple from the background. And up there, it is white, but I added a bit of blue, which is picking up from the blue of the hill beyond. So that's it about transient things that you need to paint. They're beautiful things. They're difficult. They're not easy. Earlier I mentioned that I use a fan brush, but one of the best brush to use is to go to the ladies and pick up their makeup from your makeup kit. This buffing face brush is so beautiful, and it's much better than the ones you pick up in the art stores, from the art store, because they are fine, they're very fine, a good feel to it, because it's supposed to go to the skin. So you can actually do, by the way, work on it dry and not wet, dry white, and then you can work it and smudge it around, and then, you know, just like the ladies do on their face. You can't see the marks, but it's there, and then it just disappears towards the edge. So you can do that. So use one of these. I took it from my wife, she doesn't know this, but now it belongs to me. So that's it from me about transient things to be included in your painting. Thank you. This piece is, I would consider it as I'm done. I'm very happy with the final effect. But you know, I'm tempted to work on it again and again. The trouble is not knowing. No, let me put it this way. It's a lot difficult to know when to stop than to know when to begin. At some point in time, there is a cutoff point where you will have to just stop it. Anything more would just make it bad from that point onwards, and you can't even come back. So one of the things I do is actually walk away for a couple of hours, maybe a day, and then come back, look at it and say, is this the point that I'll say, this is it? So this is it for me. I'm done. I'm sending it out for framing maybe tomorrow.